Welcome back, everyone. Today we have a post from a person who is looking to move to a new job due to a toxic environment in their current role, and they're wondering what they need to do to prepare to leave that job. So let's go ahead and get into it. I work for an association and I have been there for a good number of years. What started out as a great workplace has devolved into a highly toxic, micromanaged environment. Frontline workers are being forced into roles that strip them of any work-life balance, and in many instances, employees are now on anti-anxiety medications just so they can function without a breakdown. Seeing this with my own eyes makes me sad, and I am preparing my departure. What steps should I take as a long-term employee to make sure my transition to a new employer as seamless as possible? Well, this is a really good question. So there's a couple of things you want to do to not only make your transition easier, but you also want to make the transition easier for the person who's actually going to be coming into your role that's going to replace you. You want to make sure that you and that person are set up for success and that you're not leaving this current role on bad terms. You never want to burn bridges, even if you despise the people you work for. Are you at the point where you've accepted another position, or are you just starting to look? And if you're just starting to look, there's a couple of things you want to do. The first thing is, since you really like the job at the beginning, just look for similar companies in the same field. Obviously make sure your resume is updated. And be sure to have a good reason as to why you're leaving the job in case you're asked that in an interview or on an application, because you don't want to say, well, I'm leaving a toxic environment, even though that's true, and they may even empathize with you. Again, you never want to speak ill of a former employer. You can always say, something like, I grew out of my job and, or the role became stagnant and I'm looking for more of a challenge, and, here's what I'm looking for, or, something like, I enjoyed my time there and I learned a lot. But I don't work, it's a slower paced environment and I tend to work in a fast paced environment, and this role I'm applying to seems like it would fit my style more. Just give them a reason that isn't related to the toxicity. They're going to ask you clarifying questions anyway. So you can kind of, you can also kind of answer that. You can answer it indirectly, but just stay objective. Focus on why you want that new position, and instead of why you're leaving your old one. You can always mention, how you did research on the new company's culture and its values, and talk about how that really fits you well. See how that's gonna, you're showing how you want to join their team because you're a good fit, and you're not throwing, your old boss under the bus. Because here's the thing, at the end of the day, like a lot of industries, even if they're like, international, industries, people tend to, especially when you get higher up, people know each other and people talk. Even though I can't tell you the number of times, like, a company will say like, maybe reach out to your old employer, and even if you say no, or even if, you don't know this, they may know somebody in your company and reach out to them and say, hey, what do you know about so-and-so, to get some inside scoop. So again, you just never want to leave that door open where you're speaking negatively of your past company. As another commenter stated, you don't want to jump from the frying pan into the fire, so you need to do a ton of research. Check out reviews from customers and employees, and as they said, ask questions. Really have to give examples of how that culture operates. Ask your new boss how they manage, what they do in certain situations. One question I absolutely love to ask in an interview, for a couple reasons. One, because it always throws them off. And number two, I always seem to get I get a laugh or a positive response from the people in the room. And the question is, what do you like about the person who will be my supervisor? It's really funny because people chuckle at first, but honestly, you can get a great deal of information on how they react and their responses. So, you can really tell if they kind of are like, and they're kind of, and even if they're kind of there, well, he's nice, or yeah, he's good, he's flexible. Just based on responses like that, you can really tell how how much that person is respected. But on the other hand, if they go into examples like, oh yeah, I've had times where, I've had to be, I've had things come up with my kids or whatever, and they were super flexible and blah, blah, blah. That speaks really highly of that supervisor. So that, again, is going to give you a good idea of how they manage. And again, remember, interviews are a two-way street. So be prepared to evaluate how they treat you in the interview. That's going to be a great indicator of their culture. It's kind of like a first date. If someone can't even put in effort into making a good first impression, it's going to be all downhill from there. So you may not even want to consider it after that. Finally, don't come off as desperate. No one likes a desperate person. So even if you totally want out of your current job more than anything, the new place doesn't need to know that. For all they know, you're high in demand and you're interviewing at like 5 other places. Remember to do the little things. Send a thank you after an interview. Take notes during the interviews and be ready with lots of examples of how and what you accomplished. Write out notes and practice with a friend if you haven't interviewed in a while. I know you said you've been there a long term at your old position, so I'm not sure, if your interview skills are sharp. Look up, questions that are common in that industry that you might get in an interview. And in your current job, what you want to do is you want to start putting together something like a binder of what you did on a daily basis. Include things like where to find things, important phone numbers, who to contact, and for what. Put coworkers and managers' personal quirks in there, like Steve in marketing prefers emails to phone calls. John likes his reports double-spaced. Stuff like that. Help the new person come in and be prepared as much as you can for the new environment. Make a list for them of things like top 10 things I wish I knew when I started. Don't put anything negative down about the place. You want to make them be excited and happy to be there. And you can even include places like things like good places to eat or fun things to do in the area if they're new to town. Or if there's group activities people like to do, like, hey, everybody does trivia night on Tuesdays, make sure to join in. You want to make the new person, because you never know, that new person may be coming from an environment that they thought was absolutely terrible, and this is a good option for them. So, you want to make them excited too. And just because you had a bad experience doesn't mean that person is going to too. So you don't want to start them off on the wrong foot. And if it's bad, they'll figure it out later on their own, after they have some time to kind of, see how things go and how things operate, and then they can make their own decision. Your job is just to help them transition so they aren't stressed out immediately. And when you start that new role at your new company, start a daily journal that includes, things like how you feel, what you're unsure of, what questions you have. It's going to help you organize your thoughts and help guide you through what you need to learn to be successful. Not all employers, in fact, a lot of them don't have good training and onboarding programs, so you may just end up being thrown to the wolves and have to figure things out on your own, which can be fine for some, but really overwhelming for others. Plus, it's really fun to go back and look at how much you've changed during your time there. Think about things you'd like to know on your first day. So go back to what you added in that binder of things you wish you knew on the first day. Think about that for what things you think you want to know for your new job. Start your own little binder, I guess you could say, for yourself. In any case, just think about if you were going to start a new job, all the things that you'd like to know right off the bat, and use that as a basis to get your replacement settled in. And for your new path, get that resume out, getting examples together of how your experiences match up with that new position you're looking at getting. And that's going to make you feel like you're in control and on top of things. Finally, again, I can't stress this enough, don't let any negativity from your old job creep into the new search. Treat it as though it's a fresh start with just a little bit more knowledge and go from there. I'm not sure if your current employer would do this, but, see if they do exit interviews. That would be a good time to share why you're leaving and, maybe a chance for you to kind of maybe express some of the frustrations you've had, because maybe they just don't even know. Make sure you put in plenty of notice, at least 2 weeks, and don't take it personal if they get upset that you're leaving. Stay focused and do your best to exit gracefully. Don't be one of those people that creates a scene and makes a fool out of themselves just to prove a point or stick it to the boss one last time. Actions like that have consequences, and you don't want something like that to end up online, God forbid. Anyways, I hope this helps a little bit. If so, please give me a like, subscribe, or please share. If you'd like to speak with me more, please feel free to reach out to me. I am more than willing to chat anytime. In any case, good luck to you, and we will see you soon.